You gotta love how this Fox twit criticizes a movie she hasn't even gone out to see for herself.
Moviegoers flocked to the Bees this weekend. Jerry Seinfeld's Bee movie buzzed at the box office, raking in $26 million. Not doing so well, the star-studded Lions for Lambs. Even Tom Cruise, Meryl Streep, and Robert Redford couldn't save this new war movie. And most other war movies have also bombed, pardon the pun. Why is the public passing on flicks about today's reality, according to Hollywood, and choosing fantasy instead? Govindi Murty is co-founder of the Liberty Film Festival and founder of the blog Libertas, and she is with me now. Thanks for being with us.
Hello there. Good to be here.
You know, my husband was just saying, "Oh, do you want to go see that? Lions for Lambs?" No. Why? I said, well, why? Because, I know that they're going to say America's bad, we're evil, we do evil things, and, everybody should hate us. That seems to be the message. The American public clearly isn't buying it because the movies keep bombing. This one, with all those stars, brought in less than $7 million in an opening weekend. Why do they keep making them?
Well, the problem is Hollywood is only offering one viewpoint on the war. I think the public is very interested in seeing the war depicted on film. It's just they don't want to see only the anti-war viewpoint. I think there's a great opportunity here to make movies showing our heroic troops in battle in Iraq and Afghanistan, the many accomplishments we've had there, how have we done to help the Iraqi and Afghan people and to promote freedom around the world, but we're never allowed to show that in films. And that's why this current crop of anti-war films has done so poorly, because America traditionally has made great films of World War I, World War II, even the Korean War. But when you're going against your own country and you're trying to pose this moral equivalency between terrorists and freedom-loving Americans, quite frankly, I think it makes it very hard for you to tell a good story because you're on the truth. You're not telling the truth. You're telling what I think is a lie, or at worst, at best, a moral equivocation. Well, so this is a big problem here.
Yeah, redacted one of them. It portrays troops basically as psychopaths, as murderers. Now, you are a great writer, and I love one of your lines so much that I've got to repeat it to the folks here. You wrote this: if Tokyo Rose were alive today, she wouldn't get jail time. She'd get a 3-picture deal. And you know what? Sadly, I think you're right.
Yes, that was from my New York Daily News op-ed from last week. You know what, Tokyo Rose, what's interesting is that there are obviously a number of women named Tokyo Rose in World War II who were broadcasting from Japan, and one of them was later pardoned. She did it against her will. But the point is, the public reception at that time was such that they were not willing to tolerate anybody who's trying to undermine their troops. Today, if you have that same voice, but it's coming from within Hollywood, and this is a very big problem. There's no diversity. I believe in free speech. I like seeing movies from all viewpoints, but you have no movies being made right now that support the troops, that show that America is a just nation promoting freedom overseas. I'd like to see that. And a lot of filmmakers, I'm a filmmaker myself, a lot of filmmakers in Hollywood who'd like to present that viewpoint, they're not getting their projects greenlit at the studios. Bruce Willis alone wanted to make a movie showing the troops in Iraq in a heroic light about the Deuce 4 regiment in Mosul. He could not get the movie made at a single movie studio. And this is Bruce Willis, one of the biggest movie stars in the world. So that's a real problem.
Yeah, that's saying a lot. And in fact, I believe you mentioned in your article that really the only kind of positive movie is a movie where they show that a guy who is a good soldier is the person who doesn't agree to serve, that simply refuses to go.
Right, like Stop Loss starring Ryan Phillippe is about a soldier who refuses to serve. So that's the only kind of good soldier that will show up in a Hollywood movie today. Yeah. But again, I want to let the public know that there are people who love America, who are pro-troop within Hollywood, who want to make good films. There are very talented people like David Zucker, Cyrus Naraste, Andrew Klavan, Robert Albrecht. They're not being allowed to get their films made within the system. Well, so we need an independent film movement to make these films.
If they want to make some money, maybe they should start making those films, because
I agree.
We're sick of it being so lopsided here. Govindi Murty, thank you very much for being with us, and I want to give your website one more time. It is libertyfilmfestival.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You would think Fox would have followed this up with a special report on all the great things our soldiers are doing in Iraq and Afghanistan. Instead, they felt something was a little bit more important.
Again, we want to take your pulse on the stories that we're reporting. Perhaps we're missing something. Perhaps there are questions we're not getting answered for you. Well, what do you think about these anti-war movies? Or perhaps you think, you know what, you should ask something completely different. You know what, email us, because we read all of them. I may not read every single one myself, but someone on the staff will, and I do read a lot of them. So that email is americaspulse@foxnews.com. All right. A man's wildest fantasy. Hot, beautiful supermodel asked for his phone number. Wow, it is his lucky day. Not so fast. Talk about miscommunication. Supermodel Kate Moss recently met British politician David Cameron at a charity dinner. Well, he was naturally a little awestruck by her beauty, not knowing what to say to her. He started chatting about the flooding that hit Britain this year, particularly in Moss's hometown. Well, he must have been very knowledgeable, perhaps too knowledgeable. She turned to him and said, "Can I have your phone number?" Well, he was psyched. Turns out she thought he was a plumber.